So I need.
Hi, I'm Dr. Cynthia Clark, acupuncture physician, applied clinical nutritionist, creator of Energy Evolution, and president of Longevity Wellness. And today we're talking about what's wrong with the world, specifically with chemicals that have invaded our world and have made it a bit toxic. So we're going to talk about the bad news first. And bear with me, there's good news coming. But it's important to know the facts so that we know how important it is to pay attention to these chemicals that are in our world. So according to an environmental working group report, on average, girls use 17 personal care products a day. Teenage girls use 17 personal care products a day, 5 more than the average adult woman. The study found 16 chemicals with potentially harmful effects in blood and urine samples of girls ages 14 to 19. So even before they get out of the starting gate, women, young girls are being exposed to chemicals which are affecting their endocrine systems and their metabolism, their moods, their attitudes, and their energy levels. And according to Transparency Market Research, the anti-aging market is estimated to be worth $191.7 billion globally by 2019 with a 7.8% annual growth rate. So we don't intend to grow old gracefully. We intend to fight it every step of the way. And the more toxins we have in our system, the more we have to fight. Some other facts to share with you are a list called the Red Flag List. This is from the Environmental Working Group, and it's the hazardous 10. So these are chemical additives that are, and if you're in the book, the Aroma Clean book, we're on page 7 right here. These are chemical additives and what the problem is with them. So for example, DEA, MEA, and TEA, not the kind of delicious rose tulsi tea that I'm drinking right now. But the hormone disruptors and suspected carcinogens, which means cancer-causing agents. And they're found in shampoos, soaps, bubble baths, and facial cleansers. Now, does this mean that every person who uses one of these substances or is exposed to it once is going to get cancer? No, very likely not. If that were the case, then it wouldn't likely have been made legal in the first place. However, a little bit every day, like you would get exposed to in your shampoo, builds up a toxicity in the body over time that's very difficult to release. And so it may be that you don't get blood cancer until you're in your 70s. But I don't know about you, I don't want blood cancer at any age. So I want to pay attention to the chemicals that I'm surrounded with so that I know how much I'm being exposed to and so that I can make smart decisions about what to use when. FDNC or DNC color additives. So these are suspected carcinogens derived from coal tar. They're skin irritants and they're linked to ADHD. And these are dyes used to colorize all types of products and foods, especially personal care products, but even, we eat them all the time. Any sort of brightly colored candy or drink or food is likely to have synthetic food additives in it. Okay, this next one, this is a little bit of a touchy subject. I am such a scent person. I love the smell of scents, and there are certain scents that are that we love, like the smell of fresh cut grass, or the smell just before it rains, the ozone that's in the air, or maybe it's the fresh mountain air. I live by my nose, and smells mean a lot to me. And there are some smells that I associate, that we all associate with maybe loved ones. So a favorite perfume. When I was a little girl, my mom loved Chanel No. 5. And so for a very long time, Chanel No. 5 brought back nostalgic feelings. If I missed my mom, I would wear Chanel No. 5 and I would feel closer to her. So So we're going to hold what I'm about to say in context and hold it in a sweet place in our heart when I share with you that many of those expensive perfumes are actually made with toxic neurochemicals. They're mild irritants and suspected carcinogens. They're often extended by the presence of endocrine disrupting phthalates. And that's not a lot of fun to hear because like there's a huge industry around scents. It's in everything from the Axe men care products or Obsession. We put a ton of research as a society. We put a ton of research into just the right smell. And it's not very nice to think that that really expensive bottle of cologne or perfume might not just not be good for you, but might actually be causing people harm. As I have gotten my environment cleaner and cleaner, it's really easy for me to tell when there's a toxic neurochemical around because I can feel it in my tummy. My tummy will get a little tight and upset. I can feel it. It might be difficult for me to breathe a little bit. And my telltale is oftentimes my tongue will get a little bit numb. So let's see. The next one is one of these DMDM hydanantin, and this is one of the ones that's difficult to pronounce, which is imatinazolidinol urea. So these are antimicrobial agents which act as formaldehyde, which is a carcinogenic, releasers in cosmetics, causative of headaches, allergies, dizziness, asthma episodes, loss of sleep, etc. And they're found in skin, body, and hair care products, also antiperspirants and nail polish. I have done detoxifications for the past decade with my clients, and the people that I have found that have needed the most detoxification are in two classes. One are military people who are exposed to a lot of chemicals, and the others are ladies who work in salons. There's so many chemicals in the solvents for our nails or for our the shampoos, the conditioners, the hair care products, and they're not just topically applied, but they're also aerosol. So you're breathing them in, and if you're fixing your own hair, you're doing that once a day. But if you are a hairstylist, you're doing that all day long. And I really found that those add up. The next section is Quats. So these are quaternary ammonium compounds, and these cause inflammatory reactions and dermatitis, and they break down to form formaldehyde, which again is a carcinogen. And it's used as a preservative in skin and hair care products, also fabric softeners and antibacterial household cleaners. So it may well be that lovely scented fabric softener that you're using that makes everything smell so lovely might not actually feel so good inside of people, and might be that cause of either asthma or allergies or skin problems. The next one is 2-butoxyethanol, and this is the telltale sweet odor of window cleaners, and it's a respiratory irritant. Window cleaners, and then also in mini kitchen and multi-purpose cleaners. I just want to speak to the respiratory irritant section for a moment, because over the past 20 years, we have had a significant increase in asthma, especially in our younger population. And the reason for that is because our primary Western intervention that's been prescribed for asthma has been steroids. Over time, those steroids, constant use of a steroid inhaler, will thin the skin. And I'm not talking about the external skin, I'm talking about thinning the skin of the bronchioles, and it will also suppress the immune system. So it weakens the body over time. By the way, if you are a person that tends towards asthma attacks and you're looking for a safe, natural, effective at-home remedy, then you might start with trying a couple drops of a very good quality, and we'll talk about very good quality here in a moment, but a very, very, very good quality peppermint essential oil on the roof of your mouth, because this tends to open the respiratory situation. Please, when I give information like this, I'm giving you something you may be able to start with by trying at home. In clinic, we have much more robust and comprehensive methods of diagnosing so that we can get to exact root causes. But I want to give you evidence that there are safe, natural, and effective means that are effective alternatives to steroids, which are depleting the immune system and thinning the skin over time. And that's why in 2019, we had over 17,000 deaths due to asthma. Whereas 20 years ago, we didn't have hardly any deaths due to asthma. So we're creating a problem. As we have more of those sensitivities, of those asthma sensitivities and those respiratory sensitivities, it's more and more important that we be more attentive to allergy irritants in our environment so that we're not stimulating asthma attacks in those young people that are more sensitive now than they were 20 years ago. So it's a different environment that folks are walking around in. Okay, next one. Parabens and phthalates. So parabens are suspected carcinogens, while phthalates are endocrine disruptors. Endocrine system, this is your hormones. This is also part of your metabolism. So if you feel fat and brain foggy, then that's likely an endocrine disruptor situation. Parabens are preservatives and phthalates are plasticizers. Both are used in a plethora of products, many things. So when you're grocery shopping, best thing to do is stick to the outside of the store, stick to the produce and protein selections, parts of the store where you can see and understand all of the ingredients that are on your food that you're purchasing. If it's not in a box, then it's not going to have a label of the ingredients that are in this, and that's a good thing. Next, petrolatum. So this is suspected of containing residues of known carcinogens, benzo A pyrene and benzo B fluoranthene. These act as polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which are mutagenic agents. And it's a common petrochemical additive in household products. So we use this one pretty commonly. This next one is going to be another one that you'll probably recognize, which is the propylene glycol. And that's a common skin irritant and causative agent for contact dermatitis. It's used in cosmetics, moisturizers, sunscreens, conditioners, shampoos, and hairsprays. By the way, if you want to know how clean one of your products is, then the Environmental Working Group is a great resource to have. You can just log on to Environmental Working Group and they actually rate the safety of the various personal care products and skincare products. Almost every line that I've ever seen is on that you can buy on the Amazon is listed on the Environmental Working Group. So it's easy to find out how safe the products that you're using are. And that way, you know, if you want to reinvest with them or not. There was a favorite sunscreen that I loved. It's happened a number of times in my life that like I would find some product and fall in love with it and buy it. And then pretty quickly right after realize that it had chemicals in it that I really didn't want on my body, even though it smelled great and was introduced to me by somebody I loved. So it was like great smell plus someone I loved. And every time I found that it was really worthwhile to just set it aside, give it away to somebody who wasn't at that place yet so that it could be put to good use, and then move on to something that was a better fit for my system. We do the best we can until we know how to do better, right? So next one is sodium lauryl sulfate and sodium laureth sulfate. These are common skin, eye, and lung irritants, and they may react with other chemicals to form carcinogenic nitrosamines. So these are chemical surfactants, emulsifying and foaming agents used in makeups, shampoos, conditioners, body products, and also used to clean engines and garage floors and cars. So you can imagine that it's a pretty strong cleanser and probably not so compatible with being on the inside of our bodies. The next one is chlorine, and this is a respiratory irritant with exposures through public water supplies, fumes, and cleaning agents. It's also a potential of thyroid disruptor. So chlorine vies for the same receptors on our thyroid that look for iodine. And if you are feeling cold or sluggish or brain fogged, then you may be having a thyroid disorder. And you may also want to make sure that you're not getting any exposure to chlorine through that, either through your cleaning products or through your drinking water. Here in Sarasota, we do a really weird thing, which is that we actually add an ammonia compound to our tap water. So in addition to the chlorine, there is this ammonia, and it's even harder to get the ammonia chlorine compound out. So regular filters are not necessarily effective. You have to use the 0.02 micron filter and the reverse osmosis system, and then remineralize your water, because you never want to wind up with mineral deficiency. So chlorine is common in scouring powders, toilet bowl cleaners, mildew removers, and laundry whiteners. And then finally, talcum powder, which we all thought was so safe, but it's suspected of carcinogenic activity in ovarian and testicular cancer. So it's used in makeups, baby and adult powders, skin foundations, and deodorants. Okay, it's important to know what the bad guys look like so that we can identify them appropriately, but also so that we're not walking around in a spirit of fear. So we're not thinking that everything that we ever see is dangerous, and that, or we get the idea that cleaning itself is bad, because that's not what we're saying. So the accumulation of estrogen mimics in women and men due to their presence in household cleaners and personal care products is concerning, according to a Skin Deep report. We have so many toxins in our environment. Several years ago, they did a study on, this was a crazy one, but it was tracking the absorbability and movement of toxins through our environment and in our lives. And it measured the amount of rocket fuel that was in breast milk. And there is a surprisingly high percentage of rocket fuel in breast milk, and that's insane. But that comes from drinking water that isn't completely purified. It comes from an accumulation of these kinds of compounds in various aspects of our lives. It's not necessarily one thing, it's across the board, right? So we don't want a spirit of fear, but we do want to be very educated and aware. So I shared this one before. According to Dr. Leonardo Tersandre, Associate Professor of Pediatrics, Environmental Medicine, and Health Policy at New York University, 1,000 to 3,000 new chemicals are introduced into our environment every year. This continual chemical exposure over time is referred to as chemical load or body burden. Endocrine disrupting phthalates are always present, whether air fresheners, perfumes, cosmetics, hairsprays, nail polish, cleaners, and sprays. Consequently, it is very difficult to avoid phthalates in our environment. Phthalates, like other endocrine disruptors, mimic the design of our native hormone molecules. This is disruptive to our body. For example, pregnant females exposed to phthalates from their personal care products are a suspected causative agent for fetal neurodevelopmental issues such as ADHD. There was a family member of mine that I was going through some health issues, and I loved and wanted to go stay with, but I actually couldn't spend the night there because there were so many toxic neurochemicals in that environment that I would feel myself get tired and a little stupid while I was there. Certainly, I would develop a little bit of respiratory irritants. I'm not prone to a lot of those, but over the course of a few days, it would add up. And I would start to feel a little bit of sore throat, but mostly my symptoms were quite subtle. They were more on the energy level and the smartness factor. But because I put so much into wanting to be smart, that's one of my most important metrics. And so I paid careful attention all of the time. And it was really a kind of a tricky situation to manage, to figure out how to breathe in this environment. Okay, and then in Our Toxic World, pediatrician Dr. Doris Rapp writes of her concern over children's exposure to personal care products contributing to possible effects on their emotional, behavioral, and attitudinal development, all of which affect their ability to learn, think, and problem solve. So while we may have grown accustomed to how we feel when we're exposed to these chemicals, the developing children, this is happening at a time that their brains are developing, and it's very, very, very important that they be free to be able to develop in a healthy manner. Just a couple more facts that I want to leave you with. This is about fragrance. Fragrance is an evildoer. It is very difficult to find products not synthetically fragranced. More than 3,000 different scent compounds are available to create scented household products. Fragrance scents and certainly scents of noxious chemicals such as bleach or ammonia-based cleaners can trigger an asthmatic into an asthmatic episode. We already talked about the endocrine disruptors, the digestive disruptors, the respiratory disruptors, and asthmatic triggers are termed asthmatogens, and they are widely available in household products, especially cleaners. And as I shared before, the danger of the sensitivity for asthmatics these days is far greater than it was back when I was a kid. I was absolutely stunned when I learned that number of how many people were dying from asthma. I mean, it's not just kids that are dying from it, it's adults now, but it's stunning. So, well, that sucks. I think the answer to all of that is that we're screwed. There's nothing we can do. The world is just going to Hades in a handbasket, and that's it. But as I promised, there is good news. And I will share with you, the reason I'm so excited to be sharing this with you is that it's my experience that the better cleaning products are not only clean better, but they also feel great to clean with. And I had a genuinely new experience when I was washing my floors one day. It's something that I always had kind of hated. Like chores. I got better stuff to do. But I never realized how much I didn't like those chores because I couldn't really breathe very well. I always felt like I kind of had to hold my breath, or couldn't really to apply myself fully. So what I did instead is I used the products that I'm about to introduce you to. And I'm introducing you to these because I personally inspected the factory, and I personally verified that the processing never touches any plastic or any petrochemical. No pesticides are ever applied. So these are very, very clean products, and they're not only highly effective in cleaning your home, but they're uplifting and rejuvenating. In fact, they're used as medicine, and you can also cook with them. So if you can eat it, then that's a very good sign that it's good for you. So fact, vinegar has some capacity for cleaning, but its extent is not known. So studies indicate that it may have limited capacity. Vinegar offers a pH range, creating an unfriendly environment. So if you've ever cleaned with vinegar and been like, yes, I feel great that I'm cleaning with natural products, but maybe felt like it wasn't 100% cleaning, then you're on the right track. However, essential oils have 100 or more constituents, so it is arguable that oils present a far greater benefit for cleaning. And that's been my personal experience. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about is this cleaner called Thieves. It's the Thieves household cleaner. And the ingredients in this are deionized water. There's a surfactant, which means that a surfactant helps to clear out the oils. So there's a surfactant that's made from coconut oil. There's a surfactant made from alcohol and sugar components. There's a surfactant and cleansing agent that's non-drying to the skin. And those are in order: sodium methyl 2-sulfolaurate, alkyl polyglycoside, and disodium 2-sulfolate. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because just because it has a longer name doesn't necessarily mean that it's dangerous. It may well be okay and safe to use. You have to know what to read. You have to know how to read your labels. And then finally, soy lecithin. So this comes in a concentrated bottle, and you just add it to your bucket to make your cleansing solution. And I really highly recommend adding in your favorite cleansing essential oils. So these are all through Young Living. If you order their cleaning kit, which happens to come with that cute little steel bucket, you definitely don't want to use plastic because the essential oils are very powerful and they can eat up that plastic. So you'll get some things that are fantastic, like the Thieves essential oil in there that you can add more to, or the purification oils. So you can mix these into your bucket. You can diffuse them, the lovely pine, or of course the well-known use of orange and citrus in cleaning. So it comes with citrus fresh and lavender. And then it's got space in this little container for you to add more of your own if you like. The other thing about using essential oils for cleaning, we mentioned the bucket, and the other thing I just want to take a moment to mention is that you do want to use glass bottles. For your spray bottles, of course, there's a little bit of plastic in the middle, but we haven't figured out a way around that. The reason for this is, again, those essential oils are powerful. You're only going to use a drop or two in these things. You're not going to pour like half the bottle in. And I mention that because if you've ever used any grocery store essential oils, you may feel like you need to put in 20 drops or so to a diffuser. When you use the Young Living pure grade essential oils, you're only going to be using a couple drops because of the purity of the product. So let me give you one recipe for the, this is called the Biologist's Thieves Power Up recipe. So quoting here, when I use Thieves to clean porcelain surfaces in the bath or kitchen, I like to add biodegradable hydrogen peroxide as a whitening agent. I also add 10 drops of peppermint oil and 10 drops of tea tree or melaleuca for added pest benefits. So the recipe is using this reusable spray bottle, fill with 2/3 water, add an additional 1/3 hydrogen peroxide, 1 capful of the Thieves cleaner. This is approximately, so for those of you who are keeping careful track and you've added 2/3 and 1/3, then allow for the capful of Thieves cleaner and 10 drops of peppermint oil and 10 drops of the Young Living melaleuca oil. And then you mix and spray for general kitchen and bath cleaning. And of course, you do want to mix that every time you use it. Other products, a couple other products that are in this line are the Thieves hand soap, which is fantastic. There's a story in our circle about years ago, the wife of one of our colleagues, she had a lot of toxins in her body and didn't realize it. And she just started washing her hands with this every day, and she started having these detoxification symptoms. And that happened because she was detoxing every day. So, and then finally, there's these little wipes. So they're simple, they're easy to use, the little single wipe wipes that you can do that. There's also the hand sanitizer, the Thieves hand sanitizers that are easy to use. And then some of the other natural household cleaning necessities. If you're in the book here, it's on page 22. So baking soda, sodium bicarbonate. The reason for this is because it has a slightly alkaline base in which pH neutralizes acids and denatures proteins. And it also has a little bit of abrasive properties. So the next one is washing soda, also known as sodium carbonate decahydrate or soda ash. And this is a mineral-based washing soda. It's excellent grease and stain remover, and it's a water softener and a mineral descaler. If you've ever heard that great laundry tip of club soda, this is because carbon dioxide aids in removal of the most difficult laundry stains: blood, wine, coffee, chocolate, and other foods. By the way, you can also add citrus oils to that to help clean that too, to amp the awesome on that one. Diatomaceous earth food grade. This is a natural silica-based abrasive. You might wear a mask if used as a dry powder. Sprinkle this around doorways and windows to get rid of your insect pests. And it may be mixed with water or vinegar to form an abrasive paste. And it's excellent for cleaning porcelain surfaces. Again, citrus essential oils or thieves essential oils are great to combine with that. Hydrogen peroxide is an excellent whitening and oxidizing agent with 3% solution. It oxidizes bacteria, making it antimicrobial. It's an alternative to bleach, and it deters molds and mildews. So if you want to be able to breathe while you're cleaning your shower, then this is a great alternative. And you can combine that with the thieves cleaner to make that even more effective. Salt. This cleans, disinfects, and deodorizes. It's neutral in pH. And the saline, water with salt, is an excellent antimicrobial solution for rags and sponges. That's a great one to combine with lemon oil to clear rust. Vinegar or acetic acid, this is the slightly acidic, makes it a natural antimicrobial. It denatures proteins and on residues and surfaces such as glass and mirrors. And citrus oils can be added to vinegar to enhance its cleaning products. I want to pause for a moment and talk about one of the hazards of cleaning with heavy chemicals. It's similar to our manner of clearing all bugs with antibiotics. So for example, nowadays we have something called MRSA, which is an antibiotic resistant strain of bacteria. And that's come about by using antibiotics over time. So, and I'm not saying that no antibiotics should be used ever. I am saying that the less you use over the course of your life, then the less you're going to have to deal with things like creating superbugs. So it's the same way when we clean with really harsh chemicals, we run this risk of cleaning these bugs that are also kind of mega bugs, because it turns out life adapts and it's strong and it will tend to figure out ways to overcome adversity, just like we humans do. And so by using cleaning products that are more harmonious with our environment, allows us to guide out the pathogens and to evict them from our space and to be healthy for us. So we always want whatever cleaning products or foods or smells that we inhale, we always want those to be in our best interest so that it's adding to our health over time rather than taking a little bit away every day. Like, am I strong enough to tolerate that? Maybe isn't the best question to be asking. Is that adding to my vitality? Is that making me stronger or smarter or healthier? Is that adding life to me? Or is it really just like, okay, maybe I'm not losing so much from that today. All right, the next one is our vegetable-based oils like fractionated coconut, olive oil, avocado, sweet almond, and jojoba oil. These are excellent carrier oils for do-it-yourself products. So use these in spray bottles to polish furniture, stainless steel, and natural stone, and it can be used to prevent dryness of leather. Specifically, lemon oil is excellent for removing sticky gum residues. All right, just a couple more here. And the next one is a fun one because it's vodka. Highly concentrated food grade alcohols. So what does it do? It eliminates odors. It allows a streak-free shine when used on glass. It polishes surfactants, and you can use vodka in place of ammonia. So purification and geranium oils in water and vodka base deter insect pests too. And then finally, Castile soap. So this is an olive oil base with potassium hydroxide to denature proteins. And this is, it's a soap base with essential oils added for do-it-yourself soap products, foaming and foaming hand soap. All right, I hope this information has been helpful to you. If you get the impression that I think that essential oils are a great cleaning product, I really, really do. The research bears this out. This is not just an old wives' tale or, oh, it's it smells nice, so that's a good cleaner to choose. I want to choose a cleaner that smells good. It's really nice to choose a cleaner that smells good. But in all honesty, our noses have gotten a little bit off in America, and what smells good to you might not be what's healthiest to you. If you've been used to, sniffing Chanel #5 in Obsession for a number of years, then what smells good might be a little different. So I encourage you to explore essential oils, and I'm very, very happy to serve as your guide and to sign you up for these, because I have found that a good bulk of the work that I have done over the past decade has involved getting toxins out of people when their systems have become gunked up, congested, when the liver has become toxic from all of the different pesticides and fumicides that we've been exposed to. If you're trucking along at life and then suddenly you buy an RV and then you can't smell or taste because of the off-gassing of the RV, then what happened is that your liver reached toxic threshold and it can no longer process. So in order to regain that smell and that taste, then what you have to do is you have to clean that liver out very thoroughly. The easier way is to diminish the amount of toxins that you're exposed to in the first place. You're never going to be completely free of them. If any restaurant you go out to, any store that you go out to, they're probably not going to be cleaning with all natural cleansers. If you're walking around in the world, then you're getting exposed to a fair amount of toxins every single day. Walking down the street, you're going to be huffing exhaust fumes, and you're probably going to walk by somebody that smokes at least once a week. So it's not about cultivating a spirit of fear. It's about knowing what it is that you're looking at so that you can have the clean, safe, natural, healthy, effective solutions in your home. And that's what you're most exposed to, because that way, when you get these minor exposures to other things, it's nothing. It doesn't bother you. It doesn't affect you. And it's easy for you to move on from. You will likely, however, develop a preference for things that smell fantastic and feel really great in your body. So I assure you that may well happen. And that's not a bad thing. I am Dr. Cynthia Clark, and that's good medicine.